This assignment relates to the role of predispositions in the assessment of political topics. The research seeks to identify whether the level of prejudice towards certain minority groups determines how those groups will be perceived within the social context. The rationale behind this is based on the assumption that those individuals who tend to view certain religious, cultural, or ethnic groups negatively or positively also perceive instances which relate to political topics such as welfare and immigration in a different manner based on their initial predispositions. Reliability analysis. Frequency distribution for a dependent variable. Hypothesis 1 postulates that those who have a low view of minority groups perceive that modern lifestyles are leading to the breakdown of society. Those who view this are erroneous in their conclusion for two reasons. Firstly, the Western world is in its longest peace span, and secondly, crime rates are down since the 1990s. Moreover, if you regress to previous generations, if someone had a conservative mindset, he would have thought the same thing for the generation which was to follow. Hypothesis 2 claims that those who have a low view of minorities disagree with the assertion that immigrants contribute positively to the country, while those who are moderate or view the minorities positively tend to agree. The rationale behind this is that statistically it's been proven that immigrants contribute positively to the economy, especially in countries which are meritocratic in their workforce. Hypothesis 3 asserts that those who are predisposed to view minorities in a low manner also believe that welfare programs lead the populace to be less self-reliant and more dependent on governmental handouts. The rationale behind this is that those who have a low view of minority groups also tend to believe that those minority groups are in the vast majority of welfare recipients. IV1, IV2, IV3. In order to summarize, Hypothesis 1 seems to be supported by the data. This can be seen since 46% of the respondents who have a low view of the minority groups also believe that newer lifestyles are contributing to the breakdown of society, while the rest, 32 and 23, are dispersed in the moderate and high view category respectively. Hypothesis 2 also seems to be supported since 60% of those who have a low view towards the minority groups strongly disagree with the assertion that immigrants contribute positively to the country. The result is contrasted by the 18, 35, and 47% of those who strongly agree in the categories of low, moderate, and high respectively. Hypothesis 3 also seems to be supported. Here, 62% of those who have a high view of the minorities strongly disagree with the assertion that welfare states produce individuals who are not self-reliant, while 48% of those who have a low view of the minorities strongly agree, and the rest, 31 and 21%, being in the moderate and high groups respectively, also strongly agree. In order to conclude, initially, in interpreting the results, the most important figures in the output are the significance of the Pearson's chi-square calculations, which are 0.0 for all independent variables. This suggests that there is a chance of less than 0.0005 that the results are due to sampling errors. Additionally, the alpha score is at approximately 0.8, and since it is higher than 0.6, it can be concluded that the questions which pertain to how certain religious, cultural, and ethnic groups are evaluated are sufficiently related in order to be combined into a single index. Furthermore, using an ANOVA analysis, it can be seen that the F probability score is 0.000 for all three independent variables, and this suggests that there is less than 1 in 1,000 chance that the observed results are due to sampling errors. Further to this, since the crosstab is asymmetrical, a tau-c measure was used in order to measure the association between the ordinal variables, and it can be seen that for hypothesis 1 and 3 there is a negative tau-c score of negative 0.24 and negative 0.23 respectively, while hypothesis 2 indicates a positive tau-c score of 0.20. The positive tau-c score suggests that the higher the value for the independent variable, the higher the score for the dependent variable. In regards to this, the opposite is evident in the case of hypothesis 1 and 3. And so, to conclude, the results support the initial expectation, which was based on an assumption of cliché traits of partisanship. Yet, further research pertaining to the actual partisanship of the respondents will have to be completed in future research.